Hi, my name is Chris.
And I'm Mike.
And this channel is all about landscape photography.
In this video, we are going over how to plan a landscape photography trip. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about 4 different apps that I use that help me plan out from start to finish my shot, any shot in particular. So let's get right into it. Now, the first thing I do when I'm planning a trip is Google search. Pretty easy. I Google search the area, usually something like landscape photography, Kauai, which is where we're going. And what I'll do is I will go in and look under blog posts. I'll look at photographers in the area, photographers that have been there. I'll look under their blog posts. I'll search on Google Maps and things like that. Maybe a little bit on Instagram, but I try to stay away from that. Maybe things like locationscout.net, I believe, is what it is. Is a pretty decent one too. And before I get into the apps, that's kind of what I do, is lots of research, kind of writing things down on a notepad of locations and things like that. So once I've gathered all that information and written all that stuff down, I'll jump into my very first app, which is the most obvious one and the easiest one is Google Earth or Google Maps. What I'll do is I'll take all those points from all those places and I'll plot them on the maps themselves. I will create kind of an overview on all the locations with all the labels on them, so you can click on the labels and see where they are, and kind of there's a lot of photos sometimes with some of these places that are a little more popular, and that way I can kind of look and see where I want to go, what parts of the day, that kind of thing, what side of the island they're on in this particular case, with us being in Kauai. And so this is my starting point. My first app is Google Maps. The second app I want to talk about, and this app is probably the most important, and that is my Photopills app. So the Photopills app, for those of you people who don't know, Photopills app allows you to plan just about everything with photography when it comes to whether it's sunrises or sunsets, full moons, Milky Ways. It also has a lot of other features here we won't get too much into on this video, but what I'm going to look at for this particular part of the video is Planner. So what I can do is I can go onto my location that I want, choose one of the locations or approximate location for right now, and plot a point, and I can see exactly where the sun rises and the sun sets. So if you look here at the top corner, or at the top of the app here where it says the sun, it's kind of in a light yellow, that's the sunrise. The dark yellow is the sunset, and you can see where the moon rises and the moon sets. The light blue and the dark blue is sunrise, or moonrise and moonset. And this kind of gives me a good starting point. And this is when I can start putting into those labels on Google Earth. I can start putting in those points of, man, this might be good for sunrise or sunset.
So the next app that we want to talk about is a weather app. And what you probably already have on your phone is a pre-installed weather app that's kind of good for general forecast and everything. But what we need as photographers is what are the clouds doing. So I have an app called Meteor Blue, and it also has that general view where you can see what's going on over the next few days, how much rain, how strong of winds. But it also has kind of a table chart where you can see in which altitude the clouds are. And what you want to look for here is what you have in between the yellow lines, or like the yellow, I guess, blocks is the daylight. And then you can see where it changes from white to yellow, that's the sunrise or sunset. And you can see on how high the clouds are in this app. And usually high altitude clouds give you a pretty nice sunrise or sunset. And then what you also can do is you can go and look at the satellites, so what was going on in the past. So you don't have a forecast, obviously, for the satellite, but you can see in which direction the wind goes, and maybe if there is an opening in the clouds that you can time with your sunset or sunrise shoot here.
And how often do you check that?
Like the 5 days weather forecast, it kind of gives you a general idea, but the clouds I don't look at like maybe the day before, and then if it's sunrise, then the evening before, and there are places where it changes very fast, so it doesn't really make sense to look at it like 5 days in advance.
So this next app that I'm using here is called Tides. This is a specific app, so this is a little bit of a bonus for you guys. It's specific to seascape photography and really learning when the tides are coming, you know, rising or falling. Whether it's high tide or low tide, that's important in a lot of different ways, you know, depending on the location, which is part of the research when doing seascapes, is finding out, like if you're shooting big waves, is the waves in that particular spot better at high tide or is it better at low tide? When is the best point? So that's a lot of research that goes into that. And also for safety, and that's probably the biggest thing with seascape photography is being safe and knowing what the tide is doing. You know, if you're sitting there and the tide's coming up and you're out on a rock and next thing you know, you're out stranded because the tide's come up without you paying attention because you're watching the waves and things like that. Tide will be at...
Leaf blower, the wall waited for you!
So what you can do is choose the day that you're actually there, and you know, you can go ahead of time. It actually shows also the moon phase, which, you know, your Photopills app does the same thing. But it's really nice. You know, like I said, it's a big safety issue around seascapes. Is obviously there's a bit of danger there, or quite a bit sometimes, depending on where you're at. And right now in winter, the swells are bigger in Kauai, especially on the North Shore. So it's something you always got to watch out for. All right, guys, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna fast forward to be out in the field where we can talk about kind of refining our composition, our location, and using that Photopills app to be able to kind of see exactly while you're on location where the sun is gonna come up. So we will see you guys in Kauai.
Let's pack!
Alright guys, so we just arrived and we're gonna head down to see if we can find a nice composition. As you can see behind me, there's a lot of color in the sky already. Now I'm gonna show you guys when we get down there on the Photopills app something called augmented reality. And what that is you can actually hold the phone up to the landscape and see where the sun is going to come up. This is really helpful in things like the full moon, when you want to get a shot over something in particular, or the Milky Way. But I'm going to show you guys how to use it for sunrise. I have my composition set up. This light's going crazy here. This is amazing. So I'm taking shots as it's coming in, but what I did was, or what I'm gonna do here, go into my Photopills app, and I've already made sure that the auto settings are on, so it's showing today's date and time right now, and also my location. So what I'm gonna do is down here at the bottom, I'm gonna click on AR, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold it up to the sky here, and at about 7:30, here in about 5 minutes, that sun's gonna break the horizon. And when that happens, that sun's gonna break the horizon right at that point. So I have my composition set up to where everything's kind of facing right towards the sun. I know exactly where the sun's gonna come up, and it's gonna work out exactly how I want it to. Now I'm just waiting for the waves to kind of crash, and just, you know, like I said, my composition's dialed in. I know where the sun's gonna come up. I got some beautiful clouds in the sky. The color is just blowing up like crazy. So yeah, it's actually looking really nice. Alright guys, so the app was actually perfect. That sun's coming up just at that point over there. I'm going to try and get a sun star, but there's a lot of clouds right on the horizon. But that sun's right there, right at that point, so it's absolutely perfect. So we're getting ready to walk back, and we spot this tree that we've seen a couple of times, and I kept looking up at it, and all right, we got to go up and check it out. So we actually looked in the Photopills app as well, and you can see this would be a great shot for sunset. The sun's going to be setting just off the coast on that side, towards the southwest, and with this tree here, and you get a good sky or something like that, it would be absolutely epic. But we're here in the morning, so we're going to take a shot anyway. Chris really likes it. And then we're going to mess around, probably have second breakfast. Of course, you guys that have watched the channel, you guys know all about our love for second breakfast. And then we're going to head towards the salt pond for sunset. Or, I mean, if we don't like it there, we're probably going to head there during the day, check it out. And then if we don't like it, we can always come back here. This place is good for sunrise and sunset according to the app and where the sun's going to set. So yeah, keep an open our possibilities and see what happens.